Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another weekly Shlog. Sorry that we were gone last week. I was on vacation with my family. Went up into Wyoming, did some fly fishing and some camping and had a ton of fun. But we are back. There's the air compressor, so you know it's a Shlog when the air compressor kicks off. We got lots going on this week. Mr. Sheets is doing tons of suspension. Right now he's working on a 15, I think. Yeah, 15 Husky. Right now, so the old 4CS forks, he's gonna fix those things up and make them work really good. Then he's got Brian Pierce, a Woody from Seat Time. We're working on his suspension, get him ready for the Shady Burrow. We got Robbie Childs, I believe is his last name. His suspension's showing up tomorrow. We're getting it ready for the Shady Burrow Enduro too. Also, I will be working on my bike and doing a whole video series on the Shady Burrow, both like all the work I'm going to do to my bike to get it ready, leading up to it, and then obviously the race itself. So make sure you subscribe, guys. I'm going to be doing I'm calling it the Road to the Burrow video series. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right now, the first thing I got to do this week is change some tires. Pretty excited because I'm mounting up the very first set of X31s that we've sold. I've got a set for me also to test, so again, subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll be doing a full review on those. But these are for Garrett Anderson. I got to get after it, so let's get to it. Alright guys, we got those tires all mounted up. Now it is time to get to real work. Working on this really kind of pretty sweet old YZ250F. Not sure what year it is. Let's go take a look. It does not tell me. That's okay. I think I can... It's no 01 or no 02. Still got... It does not have... Oh, okay. Let's see. Interesting. This is interesting, guys. Join me. So the 01-02 YZ250S from the factory had a manual decompression lever. Now this one seems to not have that. It's got no extra lever up there, and then it's got this piece of safety wire. Oh wait, there it is, right there. So that's interesting. It's definitely on the wrong side, but that's no big deal. But it's wired to hold it open. So, okay. I'm not sure about that, but what we're doing to this is rebuilding this carburetor completely, including the mid-body gasket. So I've filmed that before, but we'll bring you in on the highlights here. Yank this thing off. I think this one actually shouldn't be too bad because it's an old steel frame, and the old steel frames are pretty easy to work on. I'm going to take the seat and tank off. But first, I have to say a massive, gigantic, huge, enormous thank you to the Chilicothe Enduro Club. Let me see. You guys know who you are. You know what I'm saying because you guys are my heroes now. Chilicothe Enduro Riders from Chilicothe, Ohio. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Chilicothe, not Chilicothe. Anyway, whatever. Ed and John stopped by the shop, and they gave me this brand spanking new steel MS 170 with a note that says, "Thank you for all you do for the off-road community." Guys, thank you so much for the chainsaw. Seriously, I'm like, I don't even know what to say other than thank you. I'm so happy about that. Yeah, I mean, you guys know if you've watched the videos, you know I clear lots of trail, do a lot of chainsaw cutting. I've got an MS 194T, top handle little guy, and this is going to make an awesome addition to the quiver of chainsaws. This is actually a little bit lighter. It's a back handle, so that's better for certain things. certain different situations. It's got, I think it's a 16-inch bar, which is cool because that means my chains might fit. There we go. It's also a smaller bar, so maybe not gonna fit because it's narrower. I don't know. Whatever. I'll figure it out. But the cool thing is, this bar is actually really sweet because it's a little bitty teeny weeny bar. Makes it easier to cut little stuff and get into tight places. So thank you guys so much. I seriously cannot say thank you enough. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy an Enduro Engineering chainsaw mount, so I have a whole spare mount and saw. So if you guys want to come ride with me in the spring and you don't have a saw but you want to carry one, you want to go, I'll have an extra saw for you. We can get even more work done. Thank you, Ed and John, thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much for that. So now I'm going to take this YZ250F apart, get that carburetor off, and we'll check in when we get into it. I've got the carburetor mostly apart, got the mid body off, and it's disgusting. I'll show you what that looks like, but I am currently struggling with these two bolts that are the bolts that hold this hoop on, and there's another gasket. Look at this disgustingness. This is the thing, guys, if you just cleaned the normal part of the carburetor, this thing would not run well. So anyway, we are currently dealing with those guys, and they're Allens, and they're tiny, and they're stripped because that's just what they do. So I'm going to use, and this is also a cool tool spotlight, it's been a while since we've done one, of the VAM pliers. These things are absolutely some of the coolest things I own. This is the part that's going to be extra handy for us. Focus. It hates me. There we go. See that? Little tooth rounded things. These pliers are some of my favorite things. Super serrated there, super serrated on the end. They're spring loaded, which I really like. Leia, come here, Leia. All right, guys, here we go. Come down, and these are like button headed, so they're even tougher. But I think I'm gonna, let's see, we're gonna get in there, squeeze real hard, and look at that, I think it's moving. Yep. Let's see if we can get this one. Yep. Some of the best tools you can buy. I don't know how much they are. I got them from my Matco guy. I'm sure other Matco guys have them. They do have a cutter on them. Then, you know, bigger, they just are awesome. They're made in Japan. Super rad. Anyway, I'm gonna get this thing apart, get the ultrasonic, get it all cleaned up, and we'll build it back up. All right, real quick, I got to show you this disgustingness. There is. Focus. There we go. That's disgusting. And then all of that, also disgusting. This is why you do the mid body pretty much on every one of these bikes that has an FCR carb on it now. They quit putting these on bikes long enough ago that if they come in with weird carb problems, first thing I order. So I got the carb all rebuilt on this mid body. The bike runs great now. Just finished putting the air filter back in. But one thing I found, sorry I didn't film it, but I think I've got a valve adjustment on these anyway. But as I got the carb back on, I just started to roll the motor over, and it was like crazy easy. And oh, now things blown up. So anyway, I took the valve cover off. Turns out all three intake valves were like tight. Couldn't even get a 2/1000 feeler gauge in. So set those all to 6/1000, and now the bike runs perfectly. So that's one quick way to test compression or check your valves on your 4-stroke is roll, if you have a Kickstarter, roll the Kickstarter through, and if it feels really easy or easier than normal, that's the first place I go. I don't usually go to the cylinder, you know, the piston ring situation first. It's usually valves on a 4-stroke. So anyway, that's ready to go. But Zach Sheets is installing a super sexy Henson full clutch on this brand new 2022 YZ250. This is the one that we did full suspension on. RK Tech had decked out. This is a no messing around legitimate race now, motocrosser. He's leaving it a motocrosser, but wasn't super happy with the clutch, the YZ clutch. I think if you check with a lot of people, YZ clutches are fine if you're not pushing them, but they're not that great. And Zach's, over here beating on things with a hammer, so see what he's doing real fast. Hammer beating. Ooh, nice. He just peened those on, I'm guessing. So yeah, this gear back here, that gear is on this thing, so you drill out the rivet, take it off, and when you put it on here, to make sure that those don't back out, you put Loctite on them, but then flip it over. Take a drift, get in tight right there, and beat on it a little bit, and it spreads that metal out, so it really can't come out, which is awesome. He's also, guys, we are working on the suspension of Mr. Woody from Seat Time. Very excited about that. We're getting him dialed in, ready to go for the Shady Burrow. Mr. Sheets is getting pretty close, I think. We found some things that weren't done real well by the last guys. That's unfortunate, but we're managing to get it all taken care of before next weekend. It's not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. And it's, yeah, we're cutting her a little close, but I think we're going to be able to get it back to him. So yeah, guys, if you're using a suspension company, and these guys, I'm sure they're awesome people, whatever, things happen. I mean, we've made plenty of mistakes. I've done things that have cost me and other people lots of money, so I'm not bad-mouthing. But in the suspension world, there's a lot of people out there that put their own stickers on stuff. I honestly don't think there's that many that are really good. I feel like we at TBT and all the TBT guys are really, really good. So yeah, pretty psyched about that. I'm going to get that thing off the lift. I got a tire to change and a clutch to adjust. Nothing real super exciting. We'll bring you back in when we get something cool. So I took this bike out for a test ride to make sure everything's good. It's running great. Motor's good now, whatever. But when I stopped and I turned the bars, I was going to just leave it outside for him to come pick up, and it just died. And I had seen this on here, and I don't know, I guess I didn't think much of it, but now I know what's going on. And by the way, this is not what it came in for, not the complaint. And the valves were tight, and the carburetor was disgusting. This wasn't the complaint, but now I'm seeing something hilarious. So whoever had this bike before this gentleman put the decompression lever over here. Whatever, that's fine, easy to get to. So routed down around, okay, and it needs to be routed out that way, but usually it's over on that side of the handlebars. But when you turn it, because of the way they've routed it from here and around and over, when you turn it, it decompresses the motor, pulls on that, and instead of fixing it, they put this wire on here to help hold it open. Anyway, so I'm gonna fix it now. I think what I'm gonna do, figure out what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna take this off of here and put it over on that side, and the lever will just be up top. But that's fine. You just push it with your left thumb, jacked up thumb, and you can use it that way. You don't really need it on these 250s. If you just take your time kicking it, you can kind of get it past that decompression anyway. But I'll go ahead and make it so it works. But yeah, that's awesome. Next on the lift is this Husaberg 501. Chris Nelson, I'm sorry. I know you're a Husaberg fan, and I guess if you want to be a fan of this one, you can. But sadly, this one's just a KTM. It's just the 500 KTM. This is the transition year, I believe, of 2014, before they switched over to actually being Husqvarna's. But it's a Husaberg 501 or 500, whatever, same motor. Anyway, guy dropped it off, says it's leaking fuel when on. So let's take a look. I've already found the problem. You guys may have just seen it here on the camera. I don't know, but struck this thing down, and I'll show you what I think we found. So we're just going to bump the starter and see where gas comes out. Huh. Oh, yep, there it goes. There we go. That's an easy one. Pretty happy about that. It's super straightforward. Super easy one to fix. But the other thing we noticed while it was sitting here is that it leaked all of that out, which is oil. And after looking at it up on the lift, it's pretty easy to see that it's coming from the countershaft seal. So let's do this, because this is not going to be, I'm not going to wait and order parts from KTM, because that fuel line is just a straight run, and I don't know if I have any, but if I don't, that I can get from our Napa. So let's pull this thing apart and see what we can do. Alright, so there's the hose, the fender cracked, obviously no big deal. This gentleman has some kind of cool parts, man. I haven't actually seen one of these. It's an aluminum thing instead of having the plastic. Anyway, that's nice. And then this, I have seen these before, the bigger filter, which is cool. So we just need something like this. Now, I probably could go to Napa and get that, but that means I gotta walk out of here, blah, 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 blah. But then I remembered I have this from Takamoto, and while yes, it's nice to have these super long things, I definitely don't need them to be this long. So we're gonna make this work. Gonna clip this off. By the way, another tool spotlight. These Knipex mini bolt cutters are awesome. You can actually cut spokes with these things. They're so burly. Boom, there we go. And we're gonna come over here and grab our cool guy hose clamps that are pressure hose clamps. Alright, there we go. Take another one, put it on first. Then we come over here. That O-ring looks a little worn out, so we're going to replace that too. There he is. Coming over here to steal my brake clean. There we go. Let's go check. Hey, nice and dry. One problem down. Now let's take a look at the countershaft seal. So I thought I had everything solved. We got the fuel leak taken care of down here. Countershaft seal leak is all good. Took it for a ride though, and when I got on the gas, gas came out all underneath, and so, so I looked. It was not coming from here. So pulled the seat and tank, or actually pulled the seat off, and I noticed right there that is not tight, and neither is it there. So the question now is this stripped out in here? And I hope not. So we're gonna try tightening it. If it is, I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out, because that's kind of a pain in the butt. I don't have a great way to fix that right off the top of my head. So let's try tightening it and see what happens. Alright guys, so upon pulling the plastic style screws out, all of these holes are stripped, but I found that a 6mm bolt, so 8mm head, but the bolt 6mm actually threads in there just fine. It's nice and tight. It's obviously a fine thread, so it's not ideal for going into plastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some thread locker on there, load it up with this, tighten it all down. I think we should be good. The next time this all has to come out, we're just going to have to get a new tank or figure out some sort of insert, but probably a new tank. But this should get this guy by for the next foreseeable future, and we should be good to go. Next on the lift is this, I think it's a 350 XCF KTM. Quick little story time about this. It was a friend of this gentleman who brought it in. It stopped running. It was running and it just quit, like idling. It just stopped. Will not restart. Then in their infinite wisdom, they took things apart and they broke the relay that is the relay that that provides power. Anyway, they had to unplug it because it was just spinning the starter off all the time. I don't know. These are people who really shouldn't be working on motorcycles other than like in their garage under a controlled situation. But anyway, the gentleman who owns this, his friend brought it in, and his friend just kept telling me he's a doctor, he's a doctor, he's a doctor. I was like, I don't care what he does for a living, we got to fix this motorcycle. And then I looked at it. Now, I've cleaned this bike. I just washed it. It was absolutely disgusting when it got brought in here. And I've decided I'm old enough now. I need to be having like a, colonoscopies every now and then. I know it's a little touchy subject here, but you old guys, you know what I'm talking about. And if this gentleman does them, I'm going to poop in my pants and then I'm going to go see him. That's how I feel about you guys. Not you guys. Well, you know how I mean. You people bringing me dirty, nasty motorcycles, like, come on, especially doctors. Anyway, sorry, a little bit on my high horse there, but it's ridiculous. So, anyway, we're going to find out what he did to his motorcycle. By the looks of what it looked like before I washed it, it looks like he does almost no maintenance. Doesn't take care of anything, so not a huge surprise that there'll be something wrong with it. And it could be pretty interesting. So I'm going to start by taking the seat tank off and get in and take the valve cover off. That's the first place we're going to take a look. So join me. This could be interesting. I have the valve cover off. Let me go over a little bit of what I just did, though. So I took the seat and tank off. I took the spark plug out, leaned it on the head, spun the motor over. Spark seemed like it was good, maybe a little weak looking, but honestly I think it's fine because of what I've since found. So anyway, seemed like it's sparking good. Okay, that's great. I didn't put a compression tester in there, but I stuck my finger down in there and spun it and felt like it's pretty good. When you've been doing this long enough, you can tell when something's way low. It's hard to see little differences, but it felt pretty good. So then I figured, like I said to you guys, it's time to take the valve cover off. All right, got the valve cover off. I locked the motor into top dead center using the motor lock bolt right there. And I just spin it. People have asked me how I figure out where that is. I just slowly rotate it till I see the groove. There's a groove in the crank web that thing goes into. So anyway, put that there. Okay, great. Now, let's check timing. So we look here, you see that red dot looks like it's lined up. The other red dot is down there, not lined up. So I think what we got here, guys, is it skipped time. Now I don't know why it skipped time. Usually it's cam chain tensioner or something like that. Cam chain feels really tight now, but it doesn't mean it was tight when the bike was warm. I'm guessing it's a stock OEM cam chain tensioner, and they are run off of hydraulic pressure. If this thing was hot and then it lost pressure for just a second or is low on oil, and it's got plenty of oil in it now, but it's also really clean oil. Like maybe they changed it anyway. So I think that's what's wrong. I think we just got it out of time. So what I'm going to do is retime it and see if we can't get it. It looks like it's only like a tooth. And if that's the case, it will stop running, but, not break anything. So I'm going to do that. We'll see if it runs and see how far we have to go in case we maybe hit the piston, but I don't think so. All right, so good news here. I retimed the cams like I said I was going to do. There's also bad news because, so I retimed the cams. I sprayed some brake clean into the air filter because I wanted to see if it would just run, but to do that, I obviously take the air filter off. And we can see that they've done a lovely job of maintaining their and so that I can attribute to, in my opinion, this pre-oiled pile of crap. That's a pre-oiled no-toil filter. Boo! They put in there and it let a whole bunch of dust through. But I think, fortunately for them, that's not what killed this thing. So hang on, let me show you something. So good. So we got her fixed. Really happy with that. It did not blow it up. They got super lucky. So now I've got a DIRTBIKES cam chain tensioner coming because this still has the OEM one. We're gonna get rid of that thing. because like I said, it probably got, the oil got warm, hot, whatever, lost viscosity, lost pressure on the cam change engine, skip time, whatever. Got lucky, didn't hit valves to pistons, so we're all good. But then we also have to replace this silly little relay because they broke it, because they have no business touching things with an engine. And then we'll clean that out, get a real air filter in there, and we should be good to go. I hope that teaches you something. Hopefully one thing to check when these things don't run is check the cam timing, because like one tooth and a no-go. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. That's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog. I hope you had as much fun as I did. We had a great week here at Highland Cycles. It's getting busy again. It's funny, spring goes crazy, then there's usually kind of a mellow out, and then right now it's going nuts again. Also super stoked on getting a ton of work with the TBT stuff. So guys, reach out if you need TBT suspension, if you need the best suspension, period. Reach out, let us help you out with that. We're getting a ton of that done. People are so happy. I just talked to a guy today who we just did his 2022 300 XCW, and he could not believe how good it was. Robbie Childs, we just did his 2020 300. Super happy. Anyway, it's going great. Guys, I love you so much. If you had fun, please consider subscribing. Maybe share this with a friend. Try to get some more of your friends to subscribe, because we're really trying to blow this thing up and be the biggest moto content people on YouTube, because we want to spread the gospel of two wheels. We want to get more people riding dirt bikes, because we think dirt bikes make better people. That's important to me. I love you. I hope you have a great day, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!